I am recommending to the board that in every contract going forward that will impact the classroom, I'm not talking materials or buildings or that, but the instruction. I am recommending that going forward in every contract, while we say they will comply with Florida law, in any contract in which people are going to impact the classroom, the students, and or the teachers, that we include specific language requiring them to agree that they will in no way teach critical race theory. Now, when you read the language of what the state board prohibited, the mere talking about equity or race doesn't violate that law. It's skewing it, saying that the whole system's systemic. Now, as we get reports, which we recently got from a teacher, Dr. Pace called me, spoke to me, she had it immediately investigated. It's all we can do. I am putting together, and this is difficult, a memo that I'm going to recommend to Dr. Pace that we give to all our educators so they understand the importance of this issue and what to avoid. For example, if you're teaching an art class, there's really no logical reason to get into a big talk about race. I mean, so there are.
I think that's a great idea, Mr. Kruppenbacher.
Common sense things, and I think making sure employees understand this issue, which has got to be written very carefully, is the best thing we can do to help everybody right now.
I think that's a great idea. I'm going to close my comments with the following. First and foremost, if you or majority of the students within your program have a problem with BLM, or you are subconsciously and in some cases outright racist, the fact that you program Negro spirituals, African music, gospel songs, and other black literature a majority of the time as the grand finale, insert eye roll here, in your concert infuriates me. How dare you take our music and use it for the sake of glitz and glamour and to claim you teach a variety of music within your classroom when you don't even respect the history of it or its people. Then some of you all don't even take the time to teach yourselves or seek assistance in learning the correct styling, tone, history of these songs. Then proceed to teach it incorrectly to your kids. And do not sit here and tell me it's impossible. I graduated from Winthrop, et cetera here. The more you go on in this letter that this person writes, the worse it gets. That's who we had come in here and deliver a speech to our teachers. So we can say that it doesn't exist, but then we have that person come in here and deliver training to our teachers. What do you think she's training?
That training occurred in June, the first week of June, right after pre-planning.
Yeah.
The critical race theory administrative rule was passed in July.
Okay, so prior to that administrative ruling, we had critical race theory in Osceola County, is what you're saying.
This is not critical race theory. The purpose of the content of that training, as I understand it, I did not attend, but we did have our administrators present, was about helping teachers understand cultural context for music.
Okay. Well, let me say this. When I heard with my own ears a principal say that the reason that her schools are not as good as other schools in the district is because of three things. Number one, her students were black and brown. Number two, they came from a single family. And number three, they were poor. And the first thing that came to my mind is, are you talking about me? Because that was me when I was in school. So I think that that's a horrendous job. If you're not vetting these programs, if we're not vetting this, then shame on you, because we can't say that these programs, if they're questionable, then we should be reviewing them and vetting them, okay? Because one thing that I resent, somebody else used the word resent earlier today, actually that was unrelated, I resent for any educator to tell me that because I'm one thing or another that I'm not going to learn, or because I had this environment I'm not going to learn, or because of these circumstances in my district that our schools can't be A schools. And so maybe that's a leadership issue. I would bet on it. Thank you.
Mr. Arguello, let me say. Completely agree with you. Stuff like that should never be said to anyone. That's not critical race theory. You're talking about inappropriate comments.
Somebody who doesn't relate, right? Or somebody who doesn't understand critical race theory. This half-hatched training is exactly what provides people with that environment. And critical race theory does tell you 2 + 2 for this person equals 4, but for this other person it's 3 to 5. Okay, in some of the training that we have reviewed in these folders that these parents have submitted to us, it has literally said to grade your black and brown students differently than you grade the white students. So we can't say that that's not the case. That's the training we're providing our educators.
That's not critical race theory.
Okay, well, is it appropriate? Okay, I don't care.
I can't debate whether, I
Okay.
can't tell you, that's the.
So let's name it ABC theory then. ABC theory from now on in Osceola County, when I say ABC theory, I'm talking about anything that if you were to switch the race or ethnicity around would immediately become absolutely unacceptable under any environment. And that's what we have in this school district. We have an absolute situation where we have ethnicity, race, color, origin being an absolute barrier to effective education. And why? Because our leadership is not strong enough to come and say, you know what? We're gonna teach you math. We're gonna teach you English. We're gonna teach you these subject areas here, and you're gonna be good at it no matter where you come from.
I can't, as the lawyer,
Can we call the question that's on the table, please?